Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing well today. And in this video, we are going to be making a no-knead herb bread. This is my first time making this. I don't really know what to expect. And I got the recipe out of this Southern Living 1981 annual recipe edition. And the ingredients are pretty simple, and so I'm going to go ahead and get right into that. And also the other thing that I'm going to be making later are some oatmeal pear cookies. I've never made that before either, but we have some pears and I want to do something with them, and so we will go ahead and make that later on as well. So for this recipe, I am going to be using a mixer. It does recommend to use a mixer, or at least that's what the recipe is telling you to do. I don't think you have to, but since we already have one and it says it in the recipe, I might as well try it and do it that way. And so the first thing that we need to do is get 2 packets of dry yeast, and then you're going to need 2 cups of warm water, and then we're going to let that sit in here, mix it up, let it sit in there until it starts to foam and bubble. Okay, next we will be adding a 1/2 cup of sugar. I just want to get some of the water out of here. Okay. We need 2 teaspoons of salt. We're going to be needing 1 cup of whole wheat flour. This recipe does call for whole wheat flour and all-purpose flour. And so the first amount that we're going to be adding is a cup. And 2 cups of the all-purpose flour. I do apologize for the dishwasher being on, and if it's loud, I wanted to do some dishes before I started the YouTube video, just so that when I made more dirty dishes, it wouldn't be too much afterwards. Okay, then it's saying to beat this in the electric mixer for about 2 minutes. Okay, next we're going to be adding an egg. And 4 tablespoons of olive oil, or it will be a 1/4 cup. But I'm going to be doing tablespoons just because I don't want to get my whole measuring cup dirty with olive oil. So the recipe is calling for 3/4 of dried whole sage and basil. I do have some sage and sweet basil. I'm also going to be adding some of my German winter thyme. And so I'm just going to do 3/4 of a teaspoon of each and just add it right in there. Now, if you have other herbs, I'm pretty sure that you can just add whatever you would like. And you can add as much or as little, you know, you can really do whatever you want. And so I'm going to go ahead and add some sweet basil, sage, and some German winter thyme. This is going to be pretty interesting because this is my first time ever putting like herbs like this from the garden into my bread. Because I make bread quite often now, especially since we have this mixer. It is super helpful, and I am just so grateful for it. And yeah, I've never put herbs before into my bread, so I am really excited for this because immediately when I had seen the recipe in the cookbook, I was like, okay, I gotta do that. That sounds so good. And I guess I didn't realize how a no-knead dish was, I guess, popular back then like that. I thought it was more of a recent kind of thing, but it's probably been around for a really long time, and I just have no idea what I'm talking about. Now the thyme's kind of strong, so I'm just gonna do 2/4 of a teaspoon with that. Okay, so then now we're gonna be adding a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and then we're gonna beat this for 2 minutes as well. Go. Okay, and then I'm gonna let this beat for about 2 minutes. And then if there's like flour or just, you know, whatever else ingredients that are stuck up on the side, I just like to use this tool. I don't know what it's called. And then I just like to kind of scrape the edge and just push it down. Okay, so the total of amount of flour that we need is 2 cups of wheat flour and 4 to 5 cups of the all-purpose flour. And so we've just slowly been adding it in. And so we've so far done 1 cup of wheat, and we've done 2.5 cups of the all-purpose flour. So I'm gonna first add the next cup of wheat. So I'm gonna be adding that in next. And every time I add in a cup, I'm just gonna keep slowly mixing it in. I just wanna make sure that the batter is well mixed, and it says that you want to gradually stir in the batter, using enough to form a moderately stiff dough. So the dough is going to be somewhat stiff. And then the next amount is just going to be 1.5 cups of the all-purpose. And again, I'm just going to do a cup, mix it in, and then do the 1/2 cup. Okay, I don't know how well this is gonna work. I've never done this before, but I'm gonna put the bread into these 2 cast iron pots. I am going to put some oil in here. There's already some in here. And the recipe is saying to divide the dough into 2 different pots. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. Trying to divide this to where it makes sense, because this orange one is smaller. Okay, and then the next thing that I will be doing is covering these, and I'm just going to be using a dishcloth and have them covered. I don't really know how long because it doesn't say, which I'm a little surprised, but it says until it starts to puff and rise. So I guess it could be like from a 1/2 hour to a couple of hours. I'm not really sure, so we'll see. Okay, and so as we wait for the bread to rise, I'm going to go ahead and start making these pear oatmeal cookies. And it calls for just 1 medium-sized pear. And so we're going to go ahead and core this, peel it, and then afterwards we need to, well actually maybe I should peel it first. And then afterwards we have to dice the pear up into very small pieces. Okay, so we're gonna need 2 different bowls for the wet and the dry ingredients. And the first thing we need to get is 3/4 cup of quick oats. Now it says that you can either use 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, or you can use 1/2 cup of whole wheat. And so I'm going to be using 1/2 cup of whole wheat, because I don't always use whole wheat. And so this will be nice to use. Okay, you're going to need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to add a little more. And a pinch of salt. Okay, then we want to mix all of these dry ingredients. Okay, then we're going to set that aside. And we're going to get another bowl. So we're going to need 1 egg. You're going to need a 1/4 cup of soft butter. I kind of eyeballed that. And then you're going to need a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. One teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that. Use this. Okay, then you want to mix in your pears, or your pear, I should say. Okay, we want to make sure that this is coated well. Now you want to mix the two together, your wet and dry, and you want to make sure that you mix it to where you don't over mix it. So you just want to make sure that the flour is mixed in, and then that's it. So it's still going to be lumpy. And now you want to go ahead and preheat your oven to 350. I'm going to go ahead and bake the cookies first, because with the bread we have to punch the bread, and then we have to let it rise again. So I'm going to preheat it to 350. So I think the easiest way for me to do this is if I get 2 different spoons. I would use the wooden spoon, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to grab the amount that I want. I don't know, maybe I could, but regardless, I got this other spoon. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of figure out how much I want to make or do. If I want them to be like super big or small. And it says to let these bake for around 11 to 13 minutes. Alright, so the bread has been rising for, I don't know, maybe near an hour. I don't fully remember what time that I did this. So they're saying to punch it, and all right, so I can't exactly flip them around because they are so sticky. So I'm just gonna punch it and then kind of like cover it back up again. Kind of like that. After I punched it, I just did that. And then I'm gonna let these sit again. I probably will let them sit for maybe like a half hour, maybe 20 minutes. I'm not gonna let them sit as long as the first time. Because it's weird, because the recipe says to divide the dough first and then put them in here and then punch them, and then it says to divide the dough and then let them sit again. Either that or I'm reading it wrong, but all I know is I could have had it in one container. I could have kept it in the container that we had it all in the mixer with, punch it, and then divide it, and then put them in these cast irons. That's what I should have done, but it does say to divide the dough in half, cover, and yeah, I don't know. I could have done it a different way, but it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the last batch, and then afterwards we'll go ahead and bake the bread. Okay, so first I want to mention that the cookies are really good. I like that they're not super sweet, but they do have a really good crunch to it. And it was very easy and simple to make. I really liked cutting into the pear because it was just super simple to do and work with versus an apple. And so here is the bread. They are overflowing. So the oven has to be on 375, and then these bake for around 25 to 35 minutes. I'm gonna lower the rack really quick. Okay, so the bread looks super good. I think I'm gonna take them out of here and then put them on the cooling rack. I'm gonna maybe try to like get a knife and go around and then see if I can plop them out. But yeah, they're cooked all the way through. I put a knife through the middle and made sure. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move them. I didn't let it cool all the way. It's okay. I'm not exactly sure if it wasn't cooled down all the way or if it was just really sticking in the pan. It really does seem like it was just sticking in there. I'm gonna try and get the other one out, and so I will come back and show that. This may not be the prettiest thing in the world, piece of bread, loaf of bread, whatever you want to call this, but I was able to get them out. I just think they were sticking in here really badly. I don't know, but regardless, that's not what matters. It's about how it tastes. Oh, my alarm's going off. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do a little taste test. You know what? This may not look good, but it is good. I actually really like, because it has a strong herb smell, and so I thought it was going to be overpowering, but it's actually pretty faint. And I really like the wheat bread mixed with the all-purpose, or flour with the all-purpose flour. Has a really nice texture and flavor to it. I really like it. Maybe next time I can actually put them in the loaf pans that we have. See if that can come out as a better product. But regardless, it tastes really well. I'm gonna wind up putting this into a bag anyway and have it stored, so it's okay if it looks crazy. But yeah, this is what I've got for today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed this and that it's been inspiring for you to make something for this fall going into winter. The time is going by super fast. And so thank you for watching all the way until the end. I will see you in the next video, and bye-bye.